Introduction. In the quiet and unassuming town of Willowbrook, nestled amidst a picturesque tapestry of rolling hills and a meandering, glistening river, a tale unfolds, imbued with the melancholy of life's uncertainties. It is a story not of fantastical adventures or whimsical realms, but one born from the very fabric of reality, seeping with the trials and tribulations that often mark our earthly existence. Here, the tale is rooted in the most human of emotions, friendship, ambition, and the immutable force of fate. This is not a story of kings and queens, nor of knights and dragons. It is the story of two simple souls, Sarah and David, who forged an unbreakable bond in their youthful days, beneath the azure skies of Willowbrook. It was a bond built upon shared dreams and unspoken promises of a brighter tomorrow. Sarah, blessed with a heart as vast as the sky, carried kindness in every stride, while David, a relentless dreamer, harbored a fervent ambition to escape the shackles of poverty. As time flowed unceasingly, the duo found themselves at the crossroads of life's labyrinth. Sarah chose to embrace the simplicity of her small-town existence, her heart content with the warmth of familiar faces and the aroma of fresh bread. David, however, yearned for the allure of the world beyond Willowbrook, where the streets shone with the gold of opportunity, and the future was a blank canvas waiting to be painted with success. The chapters of their lives began to diverge as David left Willowbrook, promising to return with fortunes untold, and Sarah remained, steadfast in her devotion to the town she called home. Years passed, leaving behind a trail of memories etched in the cobbled streets and whispers carried by the winds. Sarah, burdened by the weight of her dreams, faced her share of struggles and hardships, but she bore them with grace. She established Sarah's Haven, a modest bakery that became a sanctuary for weary souls, offering not only sustenance but solace to those who entered. Her bakery was a testament to the enduring spirit of Willowbrook and the enduring grace that resided within her. David, on the other hand, carved a path of his own, distant from the simplicity he once cherished. He amassed wealth and success, yet in doing so, he lost touch with the genuine bonds and genuine kindness that Willowbrook had imparted. With time, his heart became entwined with the allure of his riches, and he became a stranger in his hometown. It was on one fateful day, as the sun cast its golden glow upon Willowbrook, that David returned, bedecked in opulent attire, bearing tales of his grand achievements in the bustling city. His return stirred the town's curious whispers, and they found their way to Sarah's ears. David decided to visit the very heart of Willowbrook, Sarah's haven, to witness the changes that had unfolded in his absence. The moment he crossed the bakery's threshold, his world shifted. Here, our tale begins, a melancholy thread woven through the ordinary but significant lives of Sarah and David. It is a tale that navigates the complexities of dreams, ambition, and the bittersweet reunion of friends who had once been inseparable. It serves as a sobering reminder that life's journey is not always a straight path to success. It can be a winding road with unexpected turns, leading us back to where we began, humbled and perhaps changed. In the chapters that follow, you will bear witness to the triumphs and tribulations that befell these two souls, showcasing the deep moral lessons found in the simplest of lives and the most profound of friendships.
Chapter 1: A Fateful Encounter. In Willowbrook, a place where time seemed to linger in the air, Sarah and David's friendship blossomed in the most unassuming of circumstances. Their story began in the tranquil shade of the willow trees that lined the river bank, their laughter echoing across the waters. Willowbrook was a haven where the sunrises painted the sky with pastel hues, and the sunsets whispered promises of a tranquil tomorrow. Sarah, with her auburn hair and a smile that could warm the coldest of hearts, was known to everyone as the kind-hearted soul of Willowbrook. Her family ran a modest farm on the outskirts of town, and she carried the farm's simple values with her into every aspect of her life. David, in contrast, was the restless dreamer. His eyes sparkled with an ambition that transcended the quiet confines of the town. He lived with his widowed mother in a cottage near the bustling marketplace and yearned for more than the small world he knew. The bond between Sarah and David was forged on long walks by the river, where they would talk about the distant places they wished to explore and the dreams they longed to realize. David's aspirations painted vivid pictures of bustling cities, grand estates, and a life unburdened by want. He often spoke of the world beyond Willowbrook, where opportunities beckoned. Sarah, however, possessed a contentment that only those deeply rooted in their hometown could understand. Her dreams were simpler: to tend the family farm, marry a kind-hearted soul like herself, and raise a family. She was satisfied with the gentle rhythm of life that Willowbrook offered. Their diverging paths were subtly etched in the canvas of Willowbrook's landscape. David, upon finishing his schooling, decided to chase his dreams in the bustling city, leaving behind a tearful Sarah, who wished him nothing but the best and promised to hold their friendship close to her heart. As David's figure grew smaller in the rearview mirror of a departing bus, the innocence of their shared dreams and promises began to fade. Little did they know that their separation would mark the onset of a profound change in both their lives, eventually leading them back to Willowbrook, where their friendship had been rooted.
Chapter 2: The Diverging Paths. With David's departure from Willowbrook, a subtle transformation began to unfurl within the quiet town. It was as if a void had been left in the wake of his ambition, a void that was felt not only by Sarah but by the townspeople who had known them as a pair, the dreamer and the keeper of dreams. As the seasons turned and time flowed steadily, Sarah remained steadfast in her loyalty to her hometown. She poured her energy into the farm, continuing the tradition that had been passed down through generations. The townsfolk admired her unwavering commitment to her roots, finding solace in the familiarity of her daily presence. Sarah's days were marked by the repetitive tasks of rural life, tending to the crops, feeding the animals, and nurturing the land that had long sustained her family. The rhythms of the farm became a soothing balm for her soul, and her connection to the land only deepened with each passing year. There were no grand ambitions in her heart, only the contentment of a simple life lived with grace. Meanwhile, David was immersed in the urban whirlwind, a cacophony of towering buildings, bustling streets, and relentless competition. The city swallowed him whole, and he was swept into a world of opportunities and challenges. His dreams, once distant stars in the night sky, now burned brightly on the horizon. David's journey was not without its trials. He struggled, battled fierce competition,
and tasted the bitterness of failure, but he was relentless in his pursuit of success. With each victory and every defeat, he felt the widening chasm that separated him from the small, quiet life he had known in Willowbrook. He longed for the fulfillment of his dreams, but found himself detached from the simplicity of his past. Years turned into decades, and a great distance had grown between David and his roots in Willowbrook. His visits back to the town became infrequent, mere whispers of his former life. He exchanged letters with Sarah, though they became less frequent over time, each note bearing the weight of an unspoken realization their paths were irrevocably diverging. In Willowbrook, Sarah's life remained untouched by the trappings of success and wealth. She had become a beloved figure, known for her kindness and the warm loaves of bread that she shared with her neighbors. The bakery she had founded, Sarah's Haven, was more than a place of business. It was a sanctuary for the townspeople, a place where hearts were nourished along with bodies. The fateful day of David's return was a distant echo of the friendship that had once bound them. As he stepped off the bus and looked around, he felt like a stranger in his own hometown, a place that seemed both familiar and foreign. The air was filled with the poignant aroma of freshly baked bread, and as he followed the scent to its source, his past and his future collided in a single heartbeat. The chapter of their lives, marked by their diverging paths, was about to intersect once again, setting in motion a series of events that would challenge the very essence of their friendship and the ideals that had shaped their lives.
Chapter 3: Sarah's Struggles. In the years following David's departure, Sarah remained steadfast in her commitment to the life she had chosen in Willowbrook. While the seasons came and went, her world revolved around the simplicity of her family's farm, where every dawn brought the promise of a new day. The farm became her sanctuary, a place where she found solace in the rustic beauty of the countryside. She awoke with the sun, her days filled with the laborious yet rewarding tasks of nurturing the land. Her hands, once soft and unblemished, now bore the callus of hard work, a testament to her unwavering dedication. Sarah was content, her heart warmed by the genuine smiles and camaraderie of the townsfolk. Willowbrook, with its close-knit community, was her anchor, and she had grown to appreciate the value of connections that ran deeper than the roots of the mightiest oak. Life in the small town had its challenges. There were seasons of drought that threatened their crops, and harsh winters that tested the resilience of both land and spirit. Yet, Sarah's determination was unshakable. With each setback, she and her family found ways to adapt, learning from the lessons that nature taught. Sarah's Haven, her bakery, became a symbol of hope in the town. The intoxicating aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the cobblestone streets, drawing people in like a siren's call. In the midst of adversity, she had transformed a meager bakery into a place that offered warmth not just through the bread it served but through the kindness that radiated from her very being. She was known to lend a hand to those in need, offering not just a loaf of bread but a shoulder to lean on. In her, the townspeople found a confidant, a source of unwavering support, and an embodiment of the strength of Willowbrook's community. The struggles of Sarah's life were masked beneath the grace with which she bore them. She faced financial challenges, at times barely making ends meet, but her resilience and determination carried her through even the harshest of storms. There were nights when she lay awake, pondering the choices she had made. She knew that her dreams of simplicity were different from David's dreams of grandeur, and those differences had set them on diverging paths. Sarah's modest life was often juxtaposed with the extravagant lifestyle David had pursued in the city. Her own simplicity, however, was her greatest source of strength. In it, she found not just contentment but also the unwavering belief that life's greatest treasures were not measured in riches, but in the love and connections one fostered. As the years passed, Sarah's haven had grown beyond her humble expectations. It was no longer just a bakery, it was a testament to the enduring spirit of Willowbrook and the enduring grace that resided within her. This chapter is a reminder that life's struggles, though at times overwhelming, can be the crucible in which character is forged. Sarah's hardships, her resilience, and her ability to find contentment in life's simple pleasures are the foundations on which her character is built, setting the stage for a profound reunion with David and the moral lessons that would follow.
Chapter 4: David's Return. The news of David's impending return to Willowbrook sent ripples through the tight-knit community. It was a return that carried with it the weight of countless unfulfilled promises, and it ignited both curiosity and a sense of apprehension among the townspeople. Would David's grandiose tales of success in the city be true? Or had time transformed him into a stranger in the place he once called home? On the day of his arrival, the townspeople gathered at the bus station, curious and expectant. Children peered out from behind their parents, eager to catch a glimpse of this prodigal son whose dreams had carried him far from the cobblestone streets and rustic charms of Willowbrook. David's figure emerged from the bus, a silhouette of aspirations and the pursuit of wealth. He had changed in ways that went beyond his attire and the faint crow's feet that had etched their mark on his face. His eyes, once filled with the innocence of dreams, had gained a worldly wisdom, and his gait was that of a man who had tread upon the uneven paths of life. As he walked through the familiar streets of Willowbrook, memories and emotions intertwined within him, creating a sense of nostalgia that was both comforting and bittersweet. He noticed the familiar facades of homes, the same shops he used to frequent, and the winding river that had been the backdrop to countless childhood adventures with Sarah. These were the echoes of his past, the melodies of his former life. However, the most significant moment of his return was his visit to Sarah's haven. The simple, yet inviting bakery had changed little since he had left, with its warm and inviting aroma of freshly baked bread, the familiar wooden counters, and the warm smiles of its patrons. As David entered the bakery, his arrival was greeted by a chorus of jingling bells, announcing his presence. The room fell silent, and all eyes turned to him. Amidst the hushed whispers, one person stood out, Sarah, who was behind the counter, her eyes wide with surprise and recognition. Their gazes locked, and a poignant silence settled upon them, a silence filled with words left unspoken. A rush of memories washed over both of them, the childhood dreams, the shared laughter, and the friendship that had once been the cornerstone of their lives. David's return was not just a homecoming. It was a reunion that would test the strength of their friendship and the authenticity of the promises they had made. As the story unfolds, it is in the embrace of the Willowbrooks' past and the embodiment of their shared dreams and struggles that the characters are compelled to confront the consequences of the choices they've made.
Chapter 5: The Reunion. The atmosphere in Sarah's Haven on the day of David's return was charged with an undercurrent of emotions. The townspeople, who had known both David and Sarah, observed the reunion of these two old friends with a mix of anticipation and curiosity. Sarah, ever the embodiment of grace, rushed out from behind the counter and enveloped David in a warm, heartfelt embrace. The awkwardness of the moment seemed to dissolve in that tight hug, replaced by the warmth of their shared history. Her eyes welled with tears, mirroring the emotions that threatened to spill from David's own. "David," she whispered, her voice trembling with a blend of nostalgia and the newness of the present. "You're back." The townspeople watched with bated breath as the two friends pulled away from each other, their hands still interlocked. The air was thick with a complex mixture of emotions, the past and present colliding in a single moment. David smiled, his eyes betraying the storm of emotions within. "Sarah," he replied, "it's been too long." Their reunion felt like a blend of worlds colliding. David, who had seen the world and tasted the fruits of ambition, was humbled by the simplicity of Sarah's Haven and the sincerity of the woman who had remained anchored to Willowbrook. Sarah, on the other hand, saw in David's eyes a journey that she had not taken, the experiences and struggles that were worlds apart from her own. As they sat at one of the bakery's wooden tables, the simple act of sharing a meal seemed to transport them back to their childhood, where conversation flowed easily and their laughter echoed through the room. They recounted their individual journeys, with David regaling Sarah with tales of the bustling city, its skyscrapers, and its relentless pace, while Sarah shared stories of Willowbrook's unwavering sense of community and the enduring values of simplicity. But beneath the veneer of their rekindled friendship, an unspoken tension lingered. David had returned a changed man, his dreams of wealth and success materialized and then cruelly shattered. He could sense that Sarah, who had always found contentment in her simplicity, had remained rooted in the very essence of Willowbrook that he had once longed to escape. As the day wore on, the shadows lengthened, and the mood in the bakery became contemplative. Their reunion was a poignant reminder of the passage of time and the choices they had made. It was a moment that would lead to profound introspection, challenging them to reconcile their divergent paths and the changes they had undergone. The rekindling of their friendship was a bittersweet reminder that time had shaped them into different individuals, and the chapter that lay ahead would reveal whether their enduring bond could transcend the gulf that had grown between them.
Chapter 6: The Tragic Twist. In the days that followed David's return, the reunion with Sarah had rekindled their friendship, though it now bore the weight of unspoken truths. David had come back to Willowbrook not only to revisit his past but to seek a new beginning, one that he believed could be found in the comfort of his old friend and the simplicity of a life he had long left behind. The townsfolk had witnessed the reunion, and they hoped that David's presence would breathe new life into Willowbrook. They had longed for the return of the prodigal son, believing that the successful man who had left them would bring prosperity and change to the town. However, beneath the surface, they too felt the tension between David and Sarah, sensing that their shared history held a weight that neither had fully disclosed. In Sarah's haven, the tension grew more palpable with each passing day. David, humbled by the harsh realities of life and his own failures, had realized that his pursuit of wealth had led him down a path far removed from the core values of their childhood dreams. He longed to reconnect with the simplicity he had left behind, seeing it as a source of healing for his weary soul. Sarah, on the other hand, remained content with the life she had chosen in Willowbrook. She had no desire to leave behind the town, her family's farm, or the bakery that had become a pillar of the community. Her values were deeply ingrained in the soil she worked, in the warm smiles she shared with her neighbors, and in the genuine connections she fostered. As David settled back into life in Willowbrook, he shared his stories of success and failure with Sarah, subtly implying that he had seen a world beyond the town's borders, a world of grandeur and opportunity. He spoke of wealth, the allure of the city, and the immense power that he had once wielded. He believed that Sarah, like him, might have yearned for the life he had chased. Sarah listened to him with her characteristic warmth, always appreciating the tales of her dear friend. However, her polite but firm responses were a reflection of the fact that she had found contentment in the simple life she had chosen. She had come to understand the profound richness of a life connected to the land and the deep bonds she had formed in Willowbrook. The tragic twist in this tale occurred a year after David's return. News rippled through the town like a thunderclap. David, the man who had left Willowbrook in pursuit of his dreams, had faced the cruelest of reversals. His business empire had crumbled, and his wealth had evaporated, leaving him destitute. The townspeople were shocked by the news, and the echoes of David's misfortune reverberated throughout Willowbrook. David, who had once symbolized the promise of wealth and success, had now become a stark reminder of the capricious nature of fate. In this dark moment, David had nowhere else to turn but to Willowbrook, to the very friend and the town he had once sought to leave behind. Sarah, true to her nature, welcomed him with open arms, offering him a fresh start. She understood that the essence of their childhood dreams lay in the simple values they had shared, the enduring richness of a life grounded in community, and the integrity of staying true to one's roots. The tragedy of this twist lay not only in David's downfall, but also in the fact that it took a harsh life lesson to reveal the profound beauty of Sarah's choices and the enduring strength of their friendship. As they faced the consequences of their actions and the inevitable shifts in their lives, it was a lesson that left an indelible mark, reminding them that wealth and success could be ephemeral, while the warmth of genuine connections and the simplicity of a life well lived were the true treasures they had once cherished.
A year passed, and news reached Willowbrook that David's business empire had crumbled. He was bankrupt and had lost all his wealth. David, now destitute, returned to Willowbrook, humbled and heartbroken. The news of David's downfall struck Willowbrook like a thunderbolt, sending shockwaves through the tranquil town. Gossip spread through the cobblestone streets, over the picket fences, and into the cozy kitchens where neighbors gathered to share their daily tales. The townspeople, who had once regarded David as a symbol of ambition and success, were now confronted with the reality of his misfortune. In the midst of this whirlwind of whispers and rumors, Sarah, who had welcomed David back into her life with open arms, felt a pang of sorrow. She knew that his return had been a reluctant one, brought about by the cruel hand of fate rather than a conscious choice. David's return had transformed him from a stranger in Willowbrook to a lost soul seeking refuge in the only place that could offer him solace. When David walked back into Willowbrook, he was a shadow of the man who had left in pursuit of dreams that had crumbled into dust. His once fine clothes were now tattered, his pockets empty, and his spirit burdened by the weight of his failures. He carried with him not only the physical toll of his hardships but also the humbling realization that the wealth he had so fervently pursued had proven to be elusive and fleeting. Sarah, true to her unwavering kindness and the values she had cultivated over the years, offered David not just a warm embrace but a second chance. She provided him with shelter and a job at Sarah's Haven, the bakery that had become a symbol of her resilience and the heart of Willowbrook. The townsfolk watched as David, now destitute and humbled, took on the humble role of a baker's apprentice. They were surprised to see the man who had once been their town's most promising success story reduced to kneading dough and serving customers. The contrast between his past and his present was stark, a poignant reminder that life could be unpredictable and that success and failure walked hand in hand. David's return marked the culmination of a profound transformation, not just in his own life, but in the town's perception of success. As he toiled alongside Sarah in the bakery, the layers of pride and ambition that had once defined him were peeled away, revealing a deeper understanding of the values that Sarah had never abandoned. The tragedy of David's downfall, and his subsequent return to Willowbrook, was a stark reminder that the pursuit of wealth could come at the cost of losing sight of the most important aspects of life: genuine friendships, enduring values, and the contentment that could be found in the simplest of existences. It was a lesson etched in the very fabric of their lives, one that would serve as a poignant and lasting reminder for both David and the town of Willowbrook.
Sarah, true to her nature, welcomed him with open arms once more, offering him a fresh start. She gave him a job in her bakery, teaching him the value of humility and the enduring richness of a simple life. Sarah's response to David's return was a testament to the depths of her character and the unwavering nature of her friendship. While many might have hesitated or harbored resentment, Sarah chose a different path, one rooted in the values that had always guided her life. She greeted David with a warm smile and a heartfelt embrace, enveloping him in a comforting cocoon of familiarity. In that moment, it was as though the passage of time, the divergence of their paths, and the material differences that had once separated them faded into insignificance. What remained was the enduring connection between two friends who had shared dreams, laughter, and the trials of life. David was touched by Sarah's kindness and grace. The depth of her understanding was evident as she recognized that his return was not an acknowledgement of defeat, but rather an opportunity for growth and renewal. She saw beyond his past mistakes and the crumbling empire that had once consumed him, focusing instead on the person who had once been her closest friend. Recognizing that David had lost everything, Sarah offered him more than a warm bed and a place at her table. She extended to him the chance for a fresh start, a way to reintegrate into a life he had once left behind. She offered him a job at Sarah's Haven, the very heart of Willowbrook, where he could begin anew. As David took on the role of a baker's apprentice, Sarah became his mentor, guiding him through the rhythms of daily life in the bakery. Through the gentle guidance of her experienced hands, she taught him not only the art of baking but the more profound lesson of humility. He learned to appreciate the simple tasks, like kneading dough, watching it rise, and the therapeutic rhythm of slicing fresh bread. But beyond these tangible skills, he learned the value of humility and the enduring richness of a simple life. Sarah's approach was not merely instructional, it was deeply philosophical. She instilled in him an appreciation for the small joys of life, the laughter of children playing in the streets, the soothing sound of the river flowing nearby, and the genuine connections between friends and neighbors. David's time at the bakery marked a period of personal transformation. He observed the sense of fulfillment that Sarah derived from her daily routines and the warmth she shared with the townsfolk. It was a lesson that transcended words, illustrating that a life well lived was not determined by material wealth, but by the quality of one's relationships and the ability to find contentment in the simplicity of existence. The chapter of David's life that began with his return to Willowbrook and his apprenticeship in the bakery was a journey of rediscovery, humility, and growth. It was a lesson in appreciating the beauty of a life unburdened by ambition, and a reminder that the enduring richness of a simple life could bring a sense of fulfillment that material success could not provide.
This story serves as a tragic reminder that success should never come at the cost of losing one's integrity and the bonds of friendship and community. The pursuit of wealth and power can sometimes lead to one's own undoing, while the beauty of a simple life, like Sarah's, can provide lasting happiness and a moral lesson to cherish. The lives of Sarah and David in the tranquil town of Willowbrook offer profound insights into the human condition and the choices that shape our destinies. Their story underscores the enduring truth that success, when sought at any cost, can blind us to the values that truly matter: integrity, humility, and genuine human connections. David's relentless pursuit of wealth, while initially a testament to his ambition, ultimately led him down a path that separated him from the authenticity of his roots. The allure of success can be intoxicating, but the price it demands may entail losing sight of the very essence that once defined us. David's fall from grace reminds us that the tallest towers are built upon foundations of character and integrity, and when these foundations crumble, the entire edifice is at risk. In contrast, Sarah's life, woven with threads of simplicity and community, showcases the profound beauty that can be found in a life unadorned by opulence. The town of Willowbrook, her steadfast friendships, and her unwavering connection to her roots provided her with the lasting happiness that wealth could not offer. Her journey teaches us that the richness of life is not necessarily measured by the quantity of possessions, but by the quality of relationships and the authenticity of one's character. The tragedy that unfolds within these pages is a poignant reminder that the pursuit of wealth and power should never overshadow the importance of preserving our integrity and the bonds we share with friends and community. Success can indeed be a worthy pursuit, but it must be coupled with the humility to remember the values that make us human and the relationships that make our journey worthwhile. As we navigate the labyrinth of life, we would do well to heed the lessons of Willowbrook, where the echoes of Sarah's wisdom and David's redemption remind us that the most precious treasures are the kindness we extend to others, the integrity we uphold in the face of adversity, and the genuine connections we forge on the path to success. In the end, the beauty of a simple life, like Sarah's, shines brightly as a guiding light towards lasting happiness and a moral lesson to be cherished.